Okay, guys, it's Thor Sandalwood here, Vedic astrologer, and today we're going to talk about the upcoming Mercury Retrograde and how that's going to really affect the world, but it's also going to affect you guys in your own personal charts. And towards the end of this reading, we'll go through the signs really quick and we'll see how this Mercury Retrograde is going to affect you. The world is going really crazy right now, guys. We see what happened with the cryptocurrency markets. They've been getting just hammered. And then we have, apparently there's a ceasefire that's been arranged for what's been going on in Israel, so that's a good thing. But as far as just economic things and economic issues, it's getting really, really crazy out there. And I think that this summer, we're going to have a lot of volatility and craziness with all these planets going retrograde. So I'm going to put that warning out there that even though, we have these cryptocurrencies that have very good charts, it's like it's a rising sea raises all boats and a lowering sea lowers all boats. And that's just the fact of the matter. So we'll see, how this is going to affect us, this Mercury retrograde. And usually Mercury retrogrades can be an issue, especially with communications. And we'll talk about that. I remember when there'd be Mercury retrogrades in the past, and I would just have things like computers would act haywire and emails wouldn't get sent, and just all types of communications issues is what we see usually when there's a Mercury retrograde. Of course, guys, I'm going to give my usual disclaimer at the beginning of my broadcast. And this is not meant to replace any advice from a qualified financial planner. I use the sidereal zodiac, not the Western tropical zodiac, in my predictions. And the predictions are mine alone, videos for entertainment purposes only. So, I really want you guys to know that in Western astrology, I am a Cancer. I was born on June 23rd. And so when I found out Vedic astrology, which is what I practice, I found out that I'm a Leo ascendant, which is a completely different sign than Cancer. Okay? So it's important that when we're doing this astrology that you really look at your sidereal chart using Vedic astrology and get your real ascendant so that we can make accurate predictions for you. And guys, if you guys like this kind of content, please like and subscribe to this. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers. I'm almost at 800 subscribers. I'm at 776 right now. It's very awesome. If you're interested in your own reading, check out my website, thorsandalwood.com, and that's where you can book it. And I just want to say thank you, guys, to those who have donated to me or requested readings recently. Thank you very much. It really helps this channel. It helps fund this astrology website that I have and the work that I do in spreading this ancient knowledge of astrology to help people. Because really this is an opportunity for light workers to come forth in the world and really change this world, because that's what the Age of Aquarius is all about. Guys, I want to mention to you that right now we're in the middle of this great shift. Let me show you guys a slide real quick. And basically this great shift is we are never going back to normal. And I know that during this whole thing they've been talking about the new normal. The very nature of reality is shifting. The retrograde planets Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter are ushering us through the shift. This shift will last throughout most of the summer. Expect volatility to be volatile, erratic, and not making sense. Expect reality. Guys, this whole summer, I think that we're going to be exposed to a lot of things that simply are not going to make sense to you as far as what's happening with the financial markets and then what we're going to be seeing around the world. So we're going through this huge basic vibrational shift. We're in this 3D reality, and the earth is shifting, its vibration is increasing, and we're going through basically this phase transition where we're watching the old order basically fall and implode in on itself. So when we're doing things like cryptocurrencies and things, we're thinking towards the future. We're thinking of, okay, how do we get past this wreck of a dinosaur and leave this thing in our rearview mirror? Because this thing has not been serving everybody as well as it should have. Also, guys, we got to take a look at what's going on. When I've been looking at what's been happening with the cryptocurrency markets so far, things seem very fishy. And let's take a look at this, guys. Something seems fishy. Oil pipeline was hacked and ransom was paid in cryptocurrency. That was a little fishy. Elon Musk has been making statements that rattle the cryptocurrency markets. U.S. Treasury is calling for more cryptocurrency rules now. This is all connected. It's this old establishment versus what's coming in right now, this new earth. So when I saw all this, really when you awaken and you awake, you stop being a sleepwalker, you'll start seeing that all these little tidbits in the news, all these news stories, you can actually start lining them up and go, okay, there's an agenda going. There's an agenda at play. This is all connected. So Elon Musk statements, the pipeline hack, the hack, everything else that's going on, it's all connected. It's not an accident, okay? So whatever's happening with these cryptocurrency markets, with these whales just selling these things and doing these big dumps, this is all coordinated, guys. So we have to be very careful. We're putting on our war hats right now. Now, guys, we're going to talk about the Mercury Retrograde, and I'm going to actually show you guys also what this Mercury Retrograde is going to look like in the chart in the sky, obviously. So let's take a look at what dates we're looking at. So the dates we're looking at, guys, is going to be May 29th, 2021, obviously, to June 22nd, 2021. And Mercury, guys, remember, it rules communications, the intellect, analytical thinking, inquiry, speech, contracts, negotiations. Mercury rules electronics. Many people report problems with electronics and computers when Mercury is retrograde. Expect problems in all these areas. So, like I said, guys, every time Mercury goes retrograde, expect communications failures. You send a text and the person that you meant to send that text to, they never got that text. Or you sent an email and somehow that didn't work. Or you sent a payment, that didn't work. So that kind of stuff happens a lot during a Mercury retrograde. It's a time of miscommunication. This is a time of being misunderstood by others. Expect people to not get what you said. This is why it is an important time to delay any big decisions. Getting married, buying a house, buying a car are not a good idea when Mercury is retrograde. For example, if you do buy a car, you'll usually buy a lemon. And guys, this thing is so true. Okay, so back in 2008, when I got married the first time, I didn't even know astrology that well at the time, and I got married during a Mercury retrograde. Well, it ended up not working out. I had another member of my family get married during a Mercury retrograde. This was after I learned astrology. And I didn't say anything, of course, but I watched and observed. Again, that one fell apart. So through anecdotal experience, guys, I see that when you make a big decision during a Mercury retrograde, don't do it. Especially if you have a marriage date, do not make your marriage date during a Mercury retrograde. And it's really easy to change the marriage date. Mercury retrograde only lasts about 5 to 6 weeks. So it's not that long. You can just delay it, change it to another day. And let's go to this next one, guys. This next one I want to tell you because it's really important where Mercury is going to be at the start of this retrograde. It's going to be in the 3rd house of Gemini when we take a look at it. The world stage. Mercury will start its retrograde in the sign of Gemini, the natural 3rd house of the zodiac, which represents communications, messaging. There could be cyber attacks, power outages, or many other things associated with communications disruptions. Disruptions in communications can occur on all levels. expect communications to have problems during this time. So I know there's been people coming out like David Wilcock saying that June looks like there's going to be some type of disclosure that takes place during this time. And he's expecting, there's a lot of people that have been predicting some sort of events that will communications blackout or some sort of power outages happening during the summer. Well, with all these retrograde planets starting to happen, this is a possibility. I don't want to say ignore those possibilities. And especially with Mercury being retrograde from the 29th all the way to past June 20th, we are looking at some sort of communications disruption. So just like we saw the recent cyber attack on the oil pipeline in the eastern United States, this is still very much a possibility right now. We're definitely in the danger zone. Oh, can you please also post your crypto address for donations? Oh, thank you very much. That'd be awesome. Thank you guys, everybody that's in the chat. Really, thank you guys for coming and being here. Very much appreciated. So guys, let me show you guys in the chart really fast. You know what's so weird is I took a day off yesterday and it feels like I took like a week off. What is so weird about that? I just put a video out 2 days ago. Let's take a look at the chart. And of course, guys, this is a Vedic astrology chart. You guys are probably used to seeing them be like a round, circular type chart. Just like the zodiac behind me, that's the normal Western astrology chart, is a circular movement. You know, like I used to go on Astro Dentist and see those charts with Western astrology. Well, okay, in Vedic astrology, you have like this grid pattern right here. So let's take a look at the chart. Ooh, okay, it took me a moment to find the window there. So basically where Mercury is going to be, so this is actually a snapshot. This zodiac right here is a snapshot of where all the planets are today. And I'm using Aries. I adjusted the time so Aries could be our first house right here, okay? So Mercury is going to start out, Mr. Mercury is going to start out in the third house of Gemini, which rules communications, right? And it's going to be going backwards into Taurus. It actually just like very recently got here, okay? And so it's going to be spending most of its time throughout this retrograde in the sign of Taurus right here, okay? So when you think of that, when you think about this on a karmic level, you need to actually kind of think like, why is the universe causing us to have to revisit Taurus, the second house of the natural zodiac? Mercury's having to go back and revisit and reanalyze all that stuff that has to do with the second house of Taurus. Oh, I'm just so accustomed to the South Indian chart that it's like totally like part of my mindset now. Like when I look at a North Indian style chart, I can't even read it. So, and I'm answering one of the questions, guys. It's very hard for me to read a North Indian style chart. I use the South Indian chart. So guys, let's go back to the presentation. So when Mercury is going to be going back in the Taurus, we're going to be revisiting, and this is where I see kind of like this market correction happening, is where we're going to be revisiting Taurus. And remember how Rahu's been transiting through Taurus for quite a while now. And this is what's been contributing to the asset bubble that we've been seeing. The price of food has been going up. All things have been going up. And then just recently, before cryptocurrency crashed, those assets were going up really to the moon, right? So when Mercury goes backward into Taurus, Mercury will then be in the second house of the natural zodiac. Transiting Rahu will also be in the same sign, exaggerating the effect of the retrograde Mercury. Second house represents storage of value, world values, belief systems, asset prices, the treasuries. Retrograde Mercury is going to be revisiting Taurus because something needs to shift, okay? So basically, you guys can think of it as Taurus Mercury left the sign of Gemini, going back into the sign of Taurus because something needs to be revisited. Something needs to be reanalyzed. And that's really what we're going to be talking about with this. And, oops, let me see what... Sorry, guys. I am going to be going and switching the slide real fast. So, retrograde Mercury in Taurus. There's going to be a revisit on ideas of what is the true value of assets. There will be much confusion. This is already happening now because we're already in this retrograde Mercury shadow period. This is where the correction happens. Mercury is the accountant revisiting these assets, market volatility, trying to find true value. So this is what it's going to be about. So I don't expect the volatility to end by any measure. If anything, the markets are trying to determine the real prices of assets right now. Now, do I believe that cryptocurrency is still long-term a good asset to buy? Of course I do. I think it's a great asset to buy. I would be buying Bitcoin right now. I would be buying Ethereum right now because they're great assets. When things like this happen, people do panic because they're thinking like, what if the cryptocurrencies go to zero or something like that? But we've seen, guys, ever since Bitcoin was out in 2009, it's been out for quite a while now, and it's ridden through these storms before. There's nothing new with this. And it's going very strong, and I still continue to be around. It is the digital gold. And guys, so there's going to be a reanalysis of prices. And so Mercury is like the accountant going in there, taking an inventory, and reanalyzing everything. So there's going to be volatility as the market's trying to determine the true prices of things. And we're just in this crazy just shift right now. So the world's going through this shift as we try to develop all this stuff. Yes, I think with Mercury retrograde, I'm looking at a question in the chat real fast. I believe Bitcoin, we still have the lunar eclipse happening on May 26th in the sign of Scorpio, and we still have this Mercury retrograde happening. I think Bitcoin could drop more. So my prediction, it's going to drop more. I can't tell you how far it will drop, but I think that we haven't reached the bottom yet. So that's my worry right now. But I think, we might find a bottom here, and then it might go up way, like to the moon. Okay. Now, guys, when we're going to be talking about Mercury retrograde, we also have to talk about how it is in your individual horoscopes. So if you guys know your ascendant, like for example, I'm a Leo ascendant, my wife is an Aries ascendant. This is something that we can look at as well, guys. So let's take a look, guys. If you're Aries ascendant, Mercury is going to be visiting your second house. So if this is a personal horoscope, you're going to be actually thinking about not just your money and your assets. You're going to be revisiting finances and things like that, but you're going to be revisiting relationships with your family because second house rules family. If you're a Taurus, Mercury is going to be revisiting your first house. This is going to be you thinking about your body. Maybe there's changes you want to make with your health. Maybe there's changes you want to make in yourself. You want to change some belief structures you have. If you're a Gemini, Mercury is going to be revisiting your 12th house. Maybe you're going to be reanalyzing your relationship with dreams, your intuition. Even revisiting foreign countries you visited before because that's 12th house. If you're a Cancer, Mercury is going to be revisiting your 11th house. It's going to be a time of reevaluating your income, how you make money. It's going to be a time of reevaluating your friends because that's what 11th house is all about. If you're a Leo, Mercury is going to be visiting your 10th house of career. It's really a time of you reanalyzing what you want to do in the world. Okay. If you're a Virgo, Mercury is going to revisit your 9th house. Maybe you're going to revisit the idea of beliefs you have about your father, your gurus, your teachers, higher doctrines, religious ideas, those kind of things. If you're a Libra, Mercury is going to revisit your 8th house. You're going to be maybe having to revisit the in-laws or think about the taxes, because the taxes in the U.S. were just on May 17th. Maybe there's going to be a revisit on the taxes. If you are a Scorpio, Mercury is going to revisit your 7th house. It's going to be a time of you thinking about your marriage, your relationship with your spouse, or your business partners. If you're a Sagittarius, Mercury is going to be revisiting your 6th house. It's going to be a time of you rethinking service. It's going to be a time of you rethinking maybe another thing about health routine, because 6th house can be taking care of your health. If you're a Capricorn, Mercury is going to revisit your 5th house. Maybe they're going to reanalyze your relationship with your children. Or you're going to think about ways to get yourself back in that spotlight. Okay. Aquarius, Mercury is going to revisit your 4th house. Maybe you're going to be thinking about domestic issues at the house. Or maybe thinking about your mother a lot and reanalyzing there. If you're a Pisces, Mercury is going to be revisiting your 3rd house. Maybe there's going to be some more talk with your siblings. Or maybe you're going to develop a new hobby or a small business and you got to reanalyze that stuff. So that was a quick run through, guys, of all the horoscopes, so you can know. Let's see some of the questions here. Funny, I'm in June traveling and analyzing my dreams. Wow. Possible. According to analysis, Joe Biden should have a heart attack or something regarding just September this year. So, guys, I could do a... I'm seeing that there's some talk about Joe Biden and different things like that. One of the things that's going to be happening with Joe Biden, and we will take a look at Joe Biden's chart here in a few, probably pretty soon, I would say. Joe Biden is going to be going through this huge shift in basically, he's going to be entering this whole new Mahadasha. So he was in Jupiter Rahu when he won the presidency, and Rahu basically catapulted him to the presidency. And now Biden is going to be entering this whole new Saturn Mahadasha. The energy for him is going to change unbelievably. I mean, that energy is going to be, Saturn is the Karaka of old age, of having problems, of that cold, dense energy coming in. So it could be possible health problems when we're thinking about Joe Biden entering this new Saturn Mahadasha. When you make a change from a Mahadasha to a new Mahadasha, it's a very big shift that you're going through. It's not a small one. It's a huge one. You're going into a whole new chapter of your life. So this is going to be interesting to see. So I know that Joe Biden is a Scorpio ascendant. So Mercury revisiting his 7th house would be affecting, obviously, his marriage to Jill Biden. And him reanalyzing that. But also 7th house has to do with reanalyzing his relationships probably with even corporations, right? I know that there was some issues there with that they were going to take out the patent protections for some of these medicines that they wanted to bring over to India. And some of the companies and corporations were not liking that he was going to take away those patent protections. So maybe he's going to have issues there with Mercury going retrograde in the 7th house. Dang, I'm going to have to watch the review. So we'll have to see, guys, what's happening with that. So this is just going to be a totally new period for all of us. This is like we're going into uncharted territory. I was just watching a video the other day of people restoring this, one of those old wooden sailing ships, one of those tall ships that had the big sails on it. And I was just thinking of the analogy right now that we're on that ship and we see the storm clouds out in the distance, and we have the guy up in the crow's nest with the little binocular thing, and he's like going, okay, there's some trouble up ahead and we're getting ready, we're battening down the hatches, because that's what pretty much we have to do. This end of the mortgage, I'm looking at the comments, guys. Money will be a big issue, and end of mortgage. The mortgage moratorium and the rent moratorium things ending is going to be. I think we are just beginning to see, we haven't even seen it all yet, guys. That what's been done to the economy. It's just never going to come back. What's going to come, though, as a result of all this stuff is the digital economy of the future. More and more people, you know, we had to learn that when we were staying at home that we had to start making a living from home and on our computers. This is the way of the future. People aren't going to be going back to offices anymore. You know, the warehouse of offices and companies leasing buildings to do this really is a waste of time and waste of money. So hopefully we are seeing, guys, you know, I did say that a lot of this volatility might happen by the last quarter of 2021, but I think it's going to happen a lot sooner with all these retrograde planets happening. So I think during the summer, we're going to see some crazy things. But by the beginning of 2022, I really think that things are going to go good. We're going to be in a better direction, guys. And those, like, we make the right choices with these cryptocurrencies, we're all going to be making a lot of money focusing on that Artha. Man, I don't want to see. So anyways, guys, if there's any questions, I think we're going to end this video for now. You guys are awesome. I wish you a blessed day. Tomorrow we're going to be doing another video at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, as always. And I will be, if you guys have recommendations for videos, please let me know in the comments or in the chat, and I can take a look. I think several of you guys recommended some cryptocurrencies last week. But yeah, please let me know in the chat. Thank you guys. Numerology 2021 is Mercury. I'm seeing some of the comments, guys. Wow, I should take a look at the Indian chart. Maybe you. So is the Indian chart did you use midnight as the birth time for the Indian chart? Just curious, because I am actually trying to do an Indian chart. Yeah, so I'm planning on doing an Indian chart, but I was hoping that because a lot of the birth time was midnight. Elrond. Let's see. Well, guys, I think we're gonna call it a day. Many blessings to you guys and your families and wherever you've been coming from. Thank you so much, guys, for everything, and we will see you in the next one, okay?